everyone. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Large and visible enough?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's not quite a presentation mode, but mostly, almost like. Okay, I have an alert here I want to ignore. So, first of all, welcome everyone. I am very happy and, let's say, honored to be speaking to you in this context, and that's why I am personally mostly feeling like a sort of a volunteer in this environment, not really a professional. And so, just to skip the introduction because Tommaso made it already. Only the only thing I think we should recall from this slide is that this thing is happening within the Life Shep for Bio project, which has established a collaboration with Rete Appia, which is an association that was introduced already last time in the first of these two introductory webinars that have been made heading to this gathering of the 1st and 2nd of December, which will be taking place live. So I think we can get into more details on both the Life Shep for Bio and Rete Appia and the project of Rete Appia, which is on the National School of Pastoralism in Italy, which deserves just a few words on top of it because it's a very young experience, which is starting already to accompany a few trainings in Italy that have been called pastoral schools, despite a large difference of what goes under this name in many places, and we will enter into detail very soon. But still, we have now 3 counted experiences in Italy, and more are to come. And Rete Appia established this SNAP initiative, which is trying to keep an eye and keep on under a common umbrella all these initiatives to sort of make them coherent and trying to contribute to a single on overall objective, which is supporting pastoralism as a whole, putting together research, practitioners, shepherds in the field, and their local communities. This was to sort of give a picture of what brings we as participants to this webinar here, and what in particular brings me here. This is Alessandro De Si. I think just to be open, I mean, I said I don't feel like an expert in this. So I got involved because I've been working after a background in environmental sciences in many NGO held projects funded under awareness raising and development education, and what they call now global citizenship education and sensitization, targeting European civil society specific groups over the years. But that was held by what is nowadays the Veterinary Sans Frontières or international network, as an initiative allowing to put together and to bridge the experiences that the NGOs were holding in the impoverished countries, not to say developing and so on. You know, that's a debate I will skip now, but that of course puts a problem to call the target places where we work with NGOs without biasing that under many misconcepts. Just let me skip this part of the topic. However, in that occasion, I was working in an NGO that wanted to use or to capitalize the expertise and the experiences gained in working with local communities of pastoral and mobile peoples to sensitize European targets on the importance of pastoralism. And so years later, and many other experiences after these ones, I find myself back in this environment when last year I was offered to attend as a representative of Rete Appia and the SNAP initiative to this gathering in Portugal That was, let's say, the closing of the first pastoral school in Portugal, gathering also many other European experiences. Of pastoral schools, of course. I sent a small report to the head group of Rete Appia shortly after, and from that report and feedback from that experience, I was later offered to make a larger exploration of the pastoral schools in Europe, which are mostly dealing with okay, places where we have pastoralists, which means Portugal, Spain, the Pyrenees area, the Alpine region, and then the Apennine down to the insular experiences in Italy. We don't reach down to, let's say, the Balkans. We don't reach to Greece in this moment with this exploration of school experiences, but I've been trying to locate some, and the only one I found in Southern Europe was a wannabe school of pastoralism in Morocco that is probably continuing or having concrete experiences. I say that because if you have information about other experiences in other countries, I will be more than happy to expand my knowledge and to share it later. And this is, let's say, the state of the art, according to my exploration, dating, let's say, mid 2022. As you see, we have lots of operating schools across Spain, the Spain-France border in the Pyrenees region, then the Alpine region in France. We have one experience in Switzerland. We have these that were then pilot things or gonna start things when I made the research, which were these three experiences in Italy, and then I had a short phone interview with the guy from this place in southern Italy, Calabria, which was launched, but apparently not yet having taken place, and was, let's say, flagship for the very strong will to be innovative in terms of using drones and other technologies to reduce the field engagement and the fatigue, the workload of the pastoralists in the field. So what we have here is operating schools. We have key informants, and we have these pilot cases. What I call key informants is in this research, persons that have been part of initiating schools in many regions. There were a couple of Italians I didn't map because the flags became green in the meantime. But there were people that started just out of their, let's say, wish to support pastoral activities in their regions, and those are mostly found in Andalusia nowadays because they keep being active on the field, while most of these experiences have evolved into institutional pastoral schools. So these persons that were initiating these activities are now sort of set aside or involved as experts for specific lessons in the trainings held for pastoral or for trainees, but they are not part of the governance or the decision-making process of these schools, which became something institutional. I think that this is a good, let's say, entry point for Laia here, because in her case, the NGO initiative or the civil society initiative, the activist initiative, wishing to work for promoting pastoralism, remained in an NGO environment. Not that they didn't have opportunities or that not institutional offer to train people to have access to, let's say, community funds, which is one of the most important triggers for many applicants that enter these courses, but because they choose to stay independent and manage their training. But this is later matter for Laia's remarks on this. So after this mapping, I just have this blue flag also in Morocco, because I spoke to these people that are longing for more support, funding, and Above all, networking with practitioners and experts on the northern Mediterranean shore to build together more of their experiences. Now, I don't think it's worth to go one by one of these schools and classify them because, first, the information might not be very much updated. And second, what I get as the focus of our very meeting today is that we wish to see what are, let's say, the options, the ways pastoral schools have been approaching the topic. And so rather than checking if the southern France or the Extremadura thing have these on that option, I think is relevant to see what are the options. And I built this quick list of alternatives to go and explore them and see later what might be a common track or a path that, despite these differences, might be a common work or a synergy among the schools that exist. And what are the challenges for this to happen, which is part of what I tried to address in the last slides of the presentation. First we have, and I've also mentioned that mentioning the two differences, the two experiences in Spain I mentioned. The first is being public or private. When I say public, for instance, all of the French experience is held by public schools that are very strictly structured in the educational offer of the country, which addresses a specific target, which are 99% people that are, let's say, classified as jobless, trying to relocate themselves by getting more new skills because they are out of the work environment they were engaged in. And this can happen because they just make a radical choice of let's say, life change, or because they were more or less into the rural environment, but with little expertise on livestock sector, where at least on a seasonal base, there's a big demand. So these schools enroll with a very low threshold admittance level, a small number of persons, because this is what they can afford in terms of carrying capacity of the school, so to say. And they train them for a short while, making them able to be in the alpage, that is in the summering ground, high mountain, with normally very large livestock flocks or herds. And they are public. I mean, they're funded by the state. Their electricity bill, their infrastructure, and so on is all part of larger training institutes. One relevant thing here is that these schools, they try and train just the shepherd, or what is technically called the shepherd, like the one who is taking care of someone else's livestock, while the owner, which might have undergone more higher education courses and trainings in university or academic for addressing specifically farmers, and that means business people involved in farming management, do not take care personally of the single head or of the herds. And that's also logical if you think of the mid-size of these flocks, which are thousands of heads, and the owners would not be able to manage them and the farm at the same time. So normally they are down in the lowland, taking care of farming production and hay production and other aspects that are necessary, or other issues that are necessary to run the farm, while the shepherd is only taking care of the livestock, facing the wolves, the bears where they are, and also the tourists, or let's say the competitors, for the same use of the lands where they go for the summering ground. Another very important difference, to my opinion, is whether the school is standalone, and this happens usually where the market absorbs the shepherd as such. compared to those that are trying to make synergies with other actors in the same region or territory. Of course, this is also related to the expected impact that the school aims to have. When it's a standalone thing, it's just a demand of specialized experts on livestock management. On the other side, we have schools that are trying to, for instance, supporting the trainees in getting a job even out of the summering period, just because they want him to, or her, of course, to permanently move to this area and contribute to the repopulation of it and to the reactivation of its economy, which can also involve activities like, of course, farming remains the most important, or agricultural field at large remains the most important or the prevalent sector where they are absorbed. But there's also tourism. There are other, or employment as a seasonal employee for the public administration and so on. There are schools that assist the students in getting housing facilities, renting a place, and so on, and others that, for instance, Laia will correct me if I'm wrong, but they offer the students to live together during the training, which is a totally different kind of experience. And of course, it supposes that they do not get there with a family. And this is the very same thing as in some French schools that suppose that they are single persons, they're not reaching there after, being a bit more elder in age, and with a family with them. Related to being public or private, we have the issue of an enrollment fee. Sometimes it depends on the capacity of the single school to get and raise funds for that season, so it can be variable. This is the case, for instance, of the Madrid Picos de Europa experience, or no, Sierra Norte de Madrid, not Picos de Europa, or well, they range from Madrid to these two mountain areas north of the region of Madrid. And the contribution might be variable, while for the Catalans, for instance, is very clear that the student must give relevant support to the economic cost of the course, which has, of course, a high cost. And as for the yearly or pilot, I've been telling something about this difference in the map I've been showing a couple of slides ago. Of course, related to how young is the school, we have a strong connection to how flexible is their single training. And there are schools that are able to adapt a very minor amount of the hours they devote to training to changing subjects every year, and there are that are more free. Some are on a stable format also because if they want to give a final label to the want to be pastoralist that is enrolling, they have to match some essential or not known avoidable topics under the national training system. For instance, as a consequence of this issue, we have the fact that in Canary, but this is just an example, I guess that most of the Spanish public schools have this issue as well. They have to train the pastoralists on accessibility for disabled people to the farm. And it's very important to learn how to work with cows on a wheelchair, because you must be able to reach there. Now it's much more difficult to imagine that someone on a wheelchair will be able to milk or to transport heavy loads and so on and so forth. So to some extent, you will be a farmer because you will have your patent or your label to be a farmer, and then be able to register and to apply for public funding from the European Commission. But some teachings will be or very little used, not to say useless. If you really want to be a livestock keeper in the field in very extreme conditions, like the ones we have in the Canary Islands. To get back to that example, you can imagine that in the Canary territory, they have been, let's say, pilots in offering the shepherds to be paid to send their goats in areas where they can graze, because it's very difficult to reach for the fire control and prevention activities. So they call them oveja or cabra bombero, which means firefighter goat. And at the same time, to be able to have those goats, you must be able to move with a wheelchair. Okay. However, so this relates to the stable or compulsory subjects versus those that might change because from a year to another, or over a trendy activity that might be promising. A school might change its curriculum and include, for instance, I don't know, direct marketing or tourism and hospitality in the farm, and so on and so forth. As for the selection criteria, I think that in addition to what I mentioned for the French schools that are very low threshold, but that is the same for the Swiss one and for most schools, there's schools that sort of work according to their desired, let's say, impact or target group. And I think the best example is the school in the País Vasco, northern Spain, where you cannot just move and say, I am a livestock keeper, I will take my sheep here, my flock or herd and so on, because the owning system of land does not allow to anyone to become a livestock keeper. So what they do in this school, which is the first experience in Spain, very much acknowledged as a very important sort of a pillar of the pastoral school of the country, but they allow entrance, or they limit entrance to a very low number of trainees every year, and they normally come from family or groups, let's say, that already are in the livestock sector, because those are the ones who are likely to keep a position in there, and they want to be reinforced and empowered as much as they can. Another I think difference that should be mentioned and considered is the duration of the courses, because pastoral school has been called a very large range of things. In some cases, we have 3, 4, 5 lessons over a weekend, and in some cases, we have a life experience, like involving people for 1 year, of which 3 months are spent in a farm with a real pastoralist, helping him and learning by doing from practice in a very specific condition. Of course, at the end of the training, the trainee will be much, let's say, different one from another. Probably, if the goal is to put someone in capacity to work with operating pastoralists or shepherds, and being able to collect the milk, to make dairy products, and so on, a few weekends might be okay. But if the idea is to having someone permanently planted in a rural setting with someone else's, typically at the beginning at least, livestock, and then getting their own herd and managing them as principal or single or only income source for the family or for themselves, then of course having a longer training with much more subjects will help much more. I think I've already mentioned the difference between having permanent budget versus unstable income of the school, but that helps me going straight to the point of the on flock. For instance, L'École du Merle in southern France have a known flock of 1,500, I guess, 1,500 heads, which are, it is a state school, so the budget is permanently guaranteed by the state. So these animals are there just for training needs or for larger school farm. Of course, the school doesn't serve only the trainees that are trained yearly. It's part of a larger educational institute, and the herd is used as a, or is of use for many other trainings. While getting back to the experience in the País Vasco, having an own herd and making cheese and selling it, it contributes to the budget of the NGO that runs the school. And at the same time, it is a very important communication, sensitization, awareness raising tool, which also makes a difference in terms of what is their mission, the impact desired. And that, of course, depends on the need analysis they make and the beneficiary they want to benefit. And I think this point is right to be the last in this comparison, because for the Italian case, where the experiences are very new, mostly from the Rete Appia experience that is trying to defend and support and empower whatever revolves around pastoralism. Probably the most important beneficiary group would be pastoralists that we want to empower, but at the same time, so it's not farmers that want a shepherd to send him with the flock or with the cows up in the Alps for 3 months, but young people generally contributing to a generational turnover in the rural area where they live, in the marginal area where they live, and trying to not to make pastoralism disappear for its multiple benefits and for its cultural, environmental, ecosystem services, and so on and so forth. So I think this is, especially for the Italians, a good point. But if we consider what even the Via Campesina reported 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago in our last webinar, it's a very common situation in Europe. Having pastoralists are the smallest livestock keepers in the most marginalized areas, and facing a number of challenges that probably a single school is not able to address. Therefore, probably having an impact as a school means also having a strong capacity to make links with local authorities, affecting policies, being able to make a strong lobby and impact also public opinion. And this should be common elements of all the initiatives willing to train and to support pastoralists. So trying and summarizing under some headers the most important features and issues we have to consider, in my opinion, and following the approach that was initially from the Pathless project I was mentioning earlier. I tried to resume in the next 3 slides a few key issues, which include environment, market, governance, and then, let's say, open issues and challenges, which are the next and closing 3 slides. But at this point, I wish to fight my tendency to overexpand my intervention. So let me ask Tommaso if I should do this in the next 3 minutes, leave it open for the debate, and hand over to Laia, or I can go on. What's your opinion?
No, you can go on. Maybe in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
and talk faster and cut it short. And I'll be more than happy to sit and listen afterwards and yeah, try and see if we can find a good inputs for our meeting next month. So this is a very quick sort of shopping list of issues that affect pastoralism and in turn pastoral schools. Including some subjects. Let's say I'm on an environment column here of the slide. Modern tools helping reaction capacity and herd management under very unpredictable conditions could include meteorology or climate change, capacity to be reached by real-time information. They now speak about nowcasting, and having at the same time the capacity to react because you really much know the territory where you are, the land, the places where you can go with your, or where you can lead your livestock, and how to get them to follow you in these real-time decisions. This has a lot to do with involving the elders, the operating farmers, before they get totally, or they disappear totally. Because as we know, there's a very big problem of generational turnover, and with pastoralists, a lot of knowledge goes lost. For instance, in the schools, there's a few options. I didn't enter into much detail, but some of the schools, they just go, let's say, classroom for the first part of the training, then they go field with the pastoralist. Some interrupt, send the trainees up in the mountain with an elder and more experienced pastoralist, and then when they get back, they sit and face agroecology. And I won't see much more, but no, I won't say much more, but it's evident that it makes a difference. Then, of course, space is important to. It is important to make space for, let's say, the competitors, be them predators or tourism, and see what is the opportunity behind them, be it in wilderness or wild predators management, or as an economic opportunity for the farm or for the pastoralist, having their potential clients and teaching them how to behave. And in that, it's also very important and very, I would say 100% ignored by the schools, the management of the dogs. The only experience where we have this, or where I mapped this up to, let's say, July 2022, was the Switzerland case, the Swiss case, but we have an association that trains dogs and explores the capacity of the shepherd to host one such dog, very highly trained and able to face the walls and not biting the tourists. Okay, going to the market column, and just to make it faster, I think that the transformation of the livestock products, be it dairy or meat, could be the subject of exchanges and joint training for different schools, and finding references for this kind of training even out of the schools, because there's a lot of expertise in making typical products, making them, or labeling them, marketing them, as related to way of life, way of dealing with nature, and greening, however you want to label it, that might make a difference. The following point, as you see, there's that's just an example. I mean, they have demand for 700 shepherds for 500,000 sheep and cattle. This is the French case. In one of the schools, but as you see, the people trained corresponds to 20 trainees a year, and this is very much common. I asked everybody how many do they train and how many are there. working with livestock, and those that are trained are a very, very big minority of the operators, which means that schools impact on a very little part of the shepherds or pastoralist population, unless they have a constant work over many years and work to have the trainees settled in that area, so that eventually, over time, those who are pastoralists in that region, a larger share of them is represented by those that have attended the training. Yeah, then there's of course a big variability among the curriculum among the schools in time devoted to different subjects. Of course, transformation can take a long time and make people able to make good cheese, or be just part of a few-hour module with 3-4 hours or one weekend devoted to transformation and market, but supposing that someone else has to make the job. Okay. Let me skip this because it will be a bit longer compared to the 10 minutes I want to stick to. Coming to the governance of the school itself, of course, having a building of the budget of the school affects a balance between the number of applicants that can be enrolled, the funds, and the efficacy of the training. Of course, if you can only afford having 20 trainees every 2 years and keeping them for 3 months will not be the same as making a yearly training with 25 or even 15 of them, but keeping them for 7, 8, 10 months and so on. Another important difference or issue in governance relates to the freedom that the schools have and how they take decisions on how to change the curriculum. But I've said about this previously. One case which was relevant, and I left it there, even if I think we don't have any French in this meeting today, but there's a particularly one case in which they moved the trainees over the Pyrenees and the Alpine region, like making them physically move for a period, to offer them a larger view of what is the profession. Then it's also a choice in governance of the school if the students live together, if they are assisted in finding employment, if they're part of a job bank. I guess Laia will tell us more if we find the proper Spanish translation of this of the concept. And then of course another variable which I think is for most of the schools a non-subject, because school is at least free if not supported, is that if the students have to pay or not. And then the question of having or not a flock and heads at the school that are used for farming, but also for the income of the school. And an example I didn't quite mention in this speech is the Extremadura experience, which works in very close cooperation with a cooperative that is a larger livestock feed production, which is their most important source of income. And on that income, they have this, let's say, no-profit branch, which is holding the school, but that was funded upon a precise demand of a specific cheese that was lacking in the market because there were no pastoralists to produce the milk necessary to make it. And so, going back to the governance, of course, having or not an economic branch working for a school income based on selling products makes a difference. And of course, the group taking decisions depends a lot on whether the school is public, is owned by an NGO, by a small group, or a larger one, and so on and so forth. The last slide is referring to, let's say, open issues and challenges. Oh, sorry, there's some Italian insider in this slide. Let me see if there's something I didn't really mention previously. The target and desired impact I mentioned. Well, poverty and the very difficult condition of the rural setting and the pastoral settings. It does not only depend on being pastoralist. I mean, everybody living in these areas undergo some very difficult situations, and the school are just part of the possible actors to face these structural problems. And they have to decide whether they want to make a common campaigning, common lobbying, they want to join larger initiatives to revitalize these areas. Completely different is the issue of mediating the cultural nesting of this neo-rural generation within the local hosting community. Then the follow-up thing refers to monitoring who enters and where they go after, and in the mid to long term, what is the impact of the school in that sense. So how many of them stay in the livestock sector, how many of them become pastoralists or livestock farmer in the mid to long term. Then also the selection of the trainers and according to what kind of need we find them. And I also hope that Laia will tell us a lot about this. And yeah, the other issues, guys, deserve a much longer examination, which I would leave open for the debate. But for instance, let me just mention this increasing of the staff, aumento dello staff in the Italian version, which refers to the fact that schools get to a point in which they sort of should have someone who takes care only of fundraising through public funding, but that means applications and making partnerships and filling papers and so on and so forth, which cannot be those who take care, for instance, of the flock if they have an on-herd and so on. And also having other activities, so offering other courses, other training and sensitization activities, working with schools, for instance, or for school children, and so on and so forth. I would stop here, not because there's no other things to say, but because there are other people to listen to. So, of course, I'll be here for more and more precise details on what I've said so far. But let me give the floor back to Tommaso and or even to Laia to, if you agree, Tommaso, to make it shorter, because she I guess
Yes,
will present their experience and make any sort of remark on all the imprecise and very quick hints I've given. Thank you very much. Sorry for being so long. Over to you, Laia.
Thanks a lot for inviting us to the Catalan School of Shepherds. It's nice to be here. We really like to share with anyone our experience, and hopefully it is helpful to everybody, or to someone at least. Thanks, Alessandro, because you have done a good explanation about the international situation. I took some notes, but I think while I'm explaining our experience, I may can refer to them. So I'm gonna try to share my screen because it's not easy to follow my explanation, I think, if I do so. I won't see you once I've done it, so if someone can just say, yes, it's okay, it will be great. And if you can't understand anything, please let me know as well, but just not by your face, just say that. Let's see. Do you see the presentation?
Very well.
yes.
Okay. this is Mark in the picture, which is one of the students from this 15th edition, and we took his face to the applying process that we are now in for the next course that will start in January. So I come from the Catalan School of Shepherds, or Scuole di Pastorizia de Catalunya, which is in the Pyrenees. And this is one of the 8 existing schools of shepherds in Spain. Alessandro has mentioned several more, but as he said as well, there's different kinds of schools. So it could be between 8 and 11, depends on what we consider a shepherd's school. However, we like to be involved with a network and try to stay related with all of them. The organization that manages the school, as Alessandro mentioned as well, is a Rurbans Association, which is a non-for-profit association, a private initiative. And the School of Shepherds was created in 2009 because local shepherds did not have farming renewal. And since then, the training courses have evolved up to today. Nowadays, the School of Shepherds is 10 weeks theoretical classes and 4-month practices. However, the model hasn't changed. We do our training in agroecological practices. That means, as you see, collective or family activity, economical or social viability, ecological production without endangered natural resources, producing food of good quality and providing food sovereignty. And we like to talk about what we consider small farmers, that we think that it's the base for the agroecology concept. So, the theoretical part is divided into 2 blocks. The first one aimed to see the basics and the activity. Is the first month class. Students will start just with this. It will.
Sorry, Laila, I think we have, we don't hear very well, or is it just me?
Okay.
No, it's me too.
Okay.
Me too.
And it's because you listen to
It's like
me.
connection.
That's, yeah.
Connection. I can't do anything with that.
I can imagine.
Thank you for saying that. This is one of the wonderful things of the rural areas.
Now it's a bit better. Though.
Okay, I can not move in case it's my microphone. Okay, so what I was saying is that this first theoretical block will contain basic subjects, and a lot of them, like an overview of the whole basic stuff that we need before we go into a farm. And then there's the second block that is divided in specific seminars, try to dig into the most important aspects of the activity, that for us, those are animal feed, silvopastoralism, animal management and health, mountain pastoralism, like in the Steves, in the summer, sheepdog training, that Alessandro was saying that is very important. We also agree with that, and that's why there's a module on that. And transformation, as he said, and enterprise management. This second theoretical block will be in between the practical course, so the practical internship, in a way that they will see theoretical aspects that they will practice on the farm, and they are the students. Students will be back to deep into other stuff, and they could share what they have learned into the internship. So we like this way to do it because we think that enhance the knowledge. And in the whole theoretical part, we are talking about 330 hours. And for the practical part, this 4th month of practical internship, that before that, about the trainers, And we have different profiles like farmers, university professors, veterinarians, cheesemakers, etc. The aim is to have experts on every subject that we are giving to our students. That's something that it's relevant because it means that we have about 30, 40 trainers during the whole theoretical part, which is an effort to do all of it, but it's worth it because the quality of the subjects is very high because it's their daily job what they are explaining. So yeah, as I was saying, the practical part is 4 months of practical internship. It can be in a farm or up in the mountains during the summer month, driving the herds over there, and we try to adapt the practical, the internship to what the students want the most. That I mean, we try to put every student into a farm with a project as most similar as possible to what the student wants to do in the future. You know what I mean? And that means that we need several or a lot of farms collaborating with our project in order to be able to develop this internship. And during the internship, we will be in touch with the students weekly by the mobile phone, just calling them or texting them. And once a month, more or less, we will visit them to evaluate the learning process. To do that, we have an exercise book that we have to complete during their staying, just in order to describe how they are and what are they doing. This page would be just to evaluate the learning process, and we will have like a finish and an ending summary of how is it going, and with a final qualification for them. So the student's profile is 30 years old average, man or woman, coming from rural or urban areas, with university or secondary previous studies that do not come from family of farmers, and most of them are working when the course starts. That means that they will quit job to study with us, which shows the vocation of them, that they really want to do it.
Laia, perdón. We don't really understand if you have a problem with your microphone or with the connection. Could you try for half a minute to cut your camera and we see if there's a problem of connection? Otherwise, if it goes ahead, we will ask you to put the headset off.
I think that we have to do the same, because the problem is also that she see our images.
Yeah.
Laia, I think you turned off your microphone.
Grazie.
I did the other way around.
It's better.
See? Ah, great. So let's see. Could you follow me more or less or not?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
very well.
Good.
Mhm.
So like this is full screen again.
Very well.
Good. So I was gonna explain about the results of our school that almost, I apologize because are not updated, but the numbers haven't changed that much, so it won't be, because this is until 2020, it's 3 years ago, but they still pretty similar, to be honest. The percentages are pretty similar. So what we have is that more than the 80% finishes the training course, and from those, about the 60% work in the primary school, and there is about 17% in process to work in it. That means that they are looking for land or partners to share project, or they have personal situation that don't let them start, and sort of this. And we have about 20% that they do not continue, or we don't have the information about them. But linked to the sector, we say that we have about the 80% that they are already there or they want to stay there. And the results are thanks to many aspects. Firstly, because of the quality of the training course in itself that I was explaining earlier on, because of the trainers, and because it's a very personalized course. But secondly, due to the selection process that Alessandro was mentioning earlier on as well, that we carry out in order to accept our students. This is the process directed to ensure that our students are vocational and really want to become farmers. Right now, we are in this moment, we have the application form open, and people is just filling it. So people who wants to train with us is filling this form, answering questions that we will evaluate, but not just the technicians from the school, also shepherds that collaborate with the project, and people from the agricultural department, or trainers from the school. From those people, the best noted candidates, we will be selected for a presential interview. So we will choose about 15 people out of 40, and those will pay a fee of 1,500 euros that mentioned Alessandro as well earlier on. And thirdly, because we offer an after-school mentoring to improve their opportunities, like to find line or to do all the paper stuff, to concretize their professional projects, and we have this like employee opportunities project. We run different projects, or we participate in different projects that are always related to the Shepherd's Board, and that feed on the school, and this could feed on these projects. So yeah, and to finish, I would like to mention our strong points and main difficulties. As a strength, we highlight the team. We are a tiny team, but very very I don't know, it's with a big syntonia. The quality of the training, that we carry on with a self-evaluation, like constant revision of what we are doing, and based on that, we do changes on our training course in order to improve it. The freedom to adapt the training that Alessandro mentioned earlier on as well. We are very free to change subject or the calendar or whatever. As I said at the beginning, the training has changed a lot from its beginning, and these changes have been run because of this constant revision and because we have the freedom to do it. And then the teachers or trainees that every time more and more are involved on the project and really want to invest in the no monetary, but like adding new subjects or suggesting new ways to approach matters and these kind of things. The mid-length that we have is a 6.5-month course, although it takes most of the time it takes the whole year, but if you really want to do it like in a compact way, you can do it in 6.5 months. The personalized attention, we take into account every student and what he or she wants, and we try to design like a learning process personalized to these willings. This mentoring after school, because once they have finished, they still in touch with us, and we can share with them job offers, but also help them to many other things. And this participation in other projects that retrofit all the project. And the main difficulties would be the economic instability and the limited budget that is, of course, related. And the work precarity. So we work a lot. Maria has the numbers. I prefer to do not do it, but I think she says that we are in a, I can't remember, but with much more than the 37 hours per week that should be doing. And the lack of an adequate headquarters. We have the lack that we can count with the farmers that is next door where we are based, and we can do the practical within the theoretical part. I mean, with his sheets, and it's amazing to be able to do it. But it would be much better if we would have like a place where we could have our own herd. Although it would mean other difficulties probably. And that's it, I think, for now. I mean, you can ask specific question if you want.
Okay. Thank you very much, Laila. Thank you very much, Alessandro. And yes, I have a question. I start. I ask both of them if it's possible to have your presentation. You can send by email in the next days. It's no problem. And yes, one question. Okay, thank you. And one question for Laia. When you spoke about the practical stage, you said that students spend 4 months in farms or in with ships in the mountains. I mean, they work with shepherds, but which kind of partnership you have with these farms? You give them, for example, funds for their work. Students pay for food and sleep in another place, and then they move every day to work in the farm. How it works?
Yeah, it's an exchange. Actually, we have an agreement with them, with the farmers, and the farmer will provide with the training, of course, and food and accommodation for the whole time that the student is in its internship. And each term, the student will give his or her effort and work power, if you mean. But that's where it's very important to have a good connection with the farmers that are involved with the project, because they are actually the basic of our training course. If they don't want to have students at their place, the School of Shepherds, it's over.
Yes, sure. Thank you very much.
Sorry,
But
follow add on this question about insurance during internship.
Yeah,
Yes.
they have an insurance. I mean, we have an insurance that covers our students while they are there.
Laia, sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Ciao, I'm Antonello. I have a question about, do you pay the farmers for hosting these young people in the farm? I mean, covering the costs that they have for maintaining these guys in the farm for such a long time.
No, we don't. It's an exchange.
This is fantastic.
Yes, they are part of the project. They They really want to work for the renewal of the sector, and they collaborate with the project in this way. Sometimes they are, because they are small farms, they really celebrate to have an extra pair of hands to work. So our students are normally, they all are very good workers, and we say to them that they need to be there as many hours as they have to, no, as their trainer. And yeah, I think it's they are helpful, but on top of that, there's these farms are collaborating with the projects.
Thank you. And I have also another curiosity. You said that this is the 16th year of experience of the Catalan school, no? Is it?
This is the 15th. We are setting up the 16th.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So the question is, when you began 16 years ago this experience, did you made a sort of experimental school just for collecting benefits, or weakness of your project proposal, or did you begin directly with a scenario, a strategy, what precise strategy that you have built up at that time?
Okay, that was a me because I start in this project on 2015, but Vanessa Fleischer, who was the person who started the project, she started right with the project as it is now, or more or less as it is, because they could see the need of it, so they didn't do any like pilot or nothing like this. They learned from the Basque Country initiative and the French Shepherd's School and the Asturian one that were the closest and more, older than us. And based on their experience, the Catalan Shepherd's School was set up.
Yeah, I'm making this question because in Italy, we are just beginning these experiences. We have not past experiences in Italy. And so this is why we are developing some very different experiences in different regions of Italy, Sardinia, Northern Italy, Tuscany. So we have very different schools now. And so we have not a past. So each one of us experiences some, I can say, experimental schools in some sense. And so this is why Shep4Bio is trying to mix all the experiences for developing a more complete proposal of school for the future, for the next future. And so I think that's very useful for us to catch your more or less your experiences, your comments on your very well experienced at school in Catalonia and in other Spanish regions, for instance, Andalusia. And so yeah, it's very important for us to have this kind of feedback from you. Thank you.
That's great, Antonello. And if Alessandro was explaining earlier on, I have the knowledge of Spain, and he has more an international view. But regarding to Spain, we all are very different and very adapted to each region and the needs of each region, like he was saying. So in Basque Country or Extremadura, the School of Shepherds appears because of the need of maintaining cheeses that are very valorated by society, and in our case is because of the renewal aspect. And in Aragon, which is one of the last ones that has appeared, it's more local, and they have a very nice start point that I think is very, very good to take it into account. So I'm sure you will find like a nice proposal of the School of Shepherds, and every territory will adapt it to their local needs.
Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, I would like to. Can I ask something more about this mentoring process you mentioned? I think it's very important. I mean, what's the follow-up? What's the accompanying these guys after they go out the school? And I think this is a very key point for any new experience willing to start on a sound base. Thank you.
Yes. Once they have finished with us, we offer them to stay in touch by a WhatsApp group and a mailing group. And these two channels are used to send them job offers, for example, because we have a job board, but also other opportunities like some land that is offered to someone to start their project or this sort of stuff. And then I think because of the project is so personalized, and we are very, I don't know the name, like very close people to stay with them. They have they are capable to contact us directly and express us what they need. And for example, if they have doubts on which kind of brain they have to start with, like which kind of brain of the animal that they want to start with, or just which kind of prices they should use regarding to what they are doing, because we are in touch of, we always say the same, we are not experts on many things, but we have grown a network, and we have a lot of contacts of real experts, and we can share this knowledge from one side to the other side. If they have problems with the agriculture department, they can come to us, and we can do this like politic lobby, or however you want to call it. So all this sort of stuff that we can do for them.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that is very relevant, but it also sends us directly to the, let's say, size of the team you need to run one such initiative. You either overexploit yourself, which is very easy, let's say, in the non-for-profit sector, or you sort of build enough to have a critical mass necessary to guarantee that you will be catching opportunities and passing them, being a good advisor, writing projects, offering your consultancies to other public administrations, and so on and so forth. So what's your point of view or your experience on this aspect?
So we now are in a good moment, although the auto-exploitation that is there, but we have a convention with the agriculture department that give us some air and let us do not focus as much as we used to on fundraising that you were saying before, and that's something very relevant, because there was a time where we were looking for money more than looking after the training and making sure that it was the quality, that we were giving the quality that we say, no? And then we applied for grants. The registration fees, it's important, as you have seen. I mean, 1,500 euros is not is a quite big amount. And then we now every time more and more we do services for local administrations, because every time more and more local administrations want to use the silvopastoralism to, you were saying, you mentioned it before as well, Alessandro, to fire prevention, but they don't know how to size the project. They don't know where to find the farmers or the shepherds. They don't know anything in reality. So they come to us and ask exactly the same every time. So now it's much easier to do it. They have a good land that they want to prevent from fire, and they want to do it. With sheep or goats, I don't know. So what we do is just to do a pastoralist plan for them, and also it's a good opportunity to say how much of a shepherd should be paid to do this service. That's something that we like to do. And alongside with these services, we participate in these projects that has an income as well, an economical income, not just like an intellectual outputs that we generate and share with the school, but also these economic inputs. Do I answer you with this?
Yeah, regarding what the way you approach it is very clear. Now, this is good hints for structuring Italian schools or Italian cases, because so far what we have is a spot funding from different sources that have been allowing to make these pilot schools, as Antonello was mentioning earlier. So making it stable means also negotiating permanent, or let's say the funding for at least 3-4 years, something like that, to sort of make it give it the time to take stock of what we learn across the courses, and if you are humble enough and low profile to listen to experiences like your one and so on, I think we will be building quick instead of trying and learning by our mistakes only.
I think, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, because at the beginning in our school was exactly the same, like bits and pieces, money from everywhere, and we spend more time looking for money and justifying it than in the school, and that's not a good way to do to develop a good school, isn't it? So if you ask me, what is I think the ministry should have a line of funding for shepherd schools each country, and I think on 2026, with the international year of pastoralism and grassland, that's a demand that we should do all together, because we need the freedom to ensure that we give a training like adapted to the local needs, and that fit into what is expected and is needed, but with enough stability, economic stability, to do it properly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyone else? Otherwise, I got a couple of questions ready. Sorry, but yeah, I have a great curiosity, and I think having only Laia here is a good chance to explore in detail their experience.
Yes. Yes.
So let me ask another thing is related to the certification you give after the end of the training. Is that valid for any let's say educational level achieved by the students, giving them access to other kind of trainings or to funding and so on and so forth? What's the good and what's the weak point of the kind of training you deliver?
We never care much about it, before. Now we are in a different situation, but we always have been very concerned on having our training course recognized by the agriculture department in order to be education or formation that is valid to apply for the CAP grants, isn't it? I mean, if I want to install myself for a first time and receive to the PAC, to the CAP money, I will need to do some training course. So we have been focused on that. Most of the training that will be required to this first installation is covered by the School of Shepherds. And that is like this in Catalonia. And if you want to install yourself in other region of Spain, we need to do a little bit of connections between agricultural departments of the other regions, but we're still pretty good on that. Lately, so we don't have anything with the education department until now, but lately we see the need. So small projects can have economic viability, but it's very difficult for them, at least in Catalonia, to have what we call like not emotional, but how would I say, social viability. So I can go, I can have enough money to get to the end of the month, but maybe I don't have 1 hour free to do anything else that is not work. So and this is a big problem right now, because there's these projects that are economical viable, and they could follow on if they would have this social viability that we say. So to that, we are working with the occupation department. That it means something to you, occupation. I'm getting this wrong. Like work department.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Because they have grants to employ someone for 6 months, and it's all covered. I mean, it's all paid, and that is a very good option for these farmers that have no economical problems, but they don't have enough money to hire anyone, but they need to have a rest sometime. But with the work department, at least in Catalonia, they do need to have education recognized by the education department. So here is where we are now, right now, the whole schools of shepherds in Spain. We are working this together to go to the ministry and suggest a professional certified that is then recognized by education and be helpful to apply for these grants. Does it, yeah? Do I explain myself? Because it's not easy.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So
Yeah.
the thing is, we have
to apply for this kind of economic support. You need a label from the educational ministry, meaning that you need to pass through vocational training or these kind of things.
Yeah, but because now we don't fit into anyone that is already there, we are working to present a specific for the schools of shepherds.
Okay.
This is the same problem we have. We are working with Tuscany region to this topic, for example. And one of the problem is that we have generical professional figures related with animal care or animal breeding, but it lacks a specific figure of shepherd. And one of our aim is to propose to Tuscany region to create this figure, and then to in the way that then it's possible for the schools to be recognized as a specific work professional figure. Yes, this is a problem we also have.
Yeah. In fact, the sentence that you wrote down, Alessandro, from Canary, that is a horror. I can't remember the sentence. They are submitted to a lot of paperwork because they are in this kind of certificates that are not very.
La burocrazia es horrible.
Sí, exactly, and because they are doing their School of Shepherds through one of these professional certificates that don't fit really well into the School of Shepherds concept, and that means that you need to do many things.
We have Greta and then Maria.
Yeah, I'm following up on these, and it's mainly maybe a mental point for us to think about. But I think what Laia said was very interesting about the fact that the need of a certification was developed afterwards on the base of an actual need. They realized, oh, we need a certificate because of this reason. We are kind of trapped in looking for finding ways to get this certificate without even knowing for what we need it. So either we start thinking more deeply why we need and what for, and then see what we can do, or maybe just to see later on. I don't know. But just take these as a hint to reflect on the process, and that's it.
Well, I am a shepherd in Austria, and in Austria we completely lack shepherds. I think we lack the political will to help paying shepherds. We don't have an education either for shepherds here in Austria, and so we in La Via Campesina, Austria, we started a small working group for shepherds and for other people who work on alpine pastures, because here shepherds are mainly important for alpine pastures. We transhumance outside of the Alps does not exist anymore because we even lack the legal basis for that. And in our working group, we see that it would be important to have an education for shepherds, but then we also see that if we would create an education, it also has to go hand in hand with the fight for better wages or for fair social security or for all of these things that we lack. Like in Austria, we don't even have a legal basis to train our dogs. So actually we have to have veterinarians around that are keen on training dogs, otherwise you could do it illegally. So my question is, do you see you as a school, do you also see yourself, do you see it as a task to also fight for better rights or better wages for shepherds? Or do you have other people representing shepherds in your country?
So I really try my best not to represent shepherds because I'm not a shepherdless, so I can't do that. But yes, to fight for to improve the situation In fact, we are involved in the strategy plan of Catalonia for the extensive livestock, and we are running the secretariat. I don't know the name in English. Like we are running we would love to see an organization like they have in France, that they have this Alianza Pastoral, and something is happening in Catalonia that is not already set up. And for now, what we are doing is what we can, that is to talk to the politicians and to try to transfer the needs that are set to us to the people who is in the government. But I don't know if it's working a lot, because I mean, in Catalonia, livestock is pork and chicken in intensive production model. So we are a minority, and the economic lobby that represents these two other sectors are huge respect to us. So we try, Maria, but I don't know. I would like to see a big movement with all the shepherds representing themselves, and us being there as supporters, or wherever is the place that they want us to have. But we are not there already.
Okay. And anyone else? No? Okay. I have the last short question. It's a very practical question. Laia, when you spoke about the theoretical part of the program, you said that you have a theoretical block 1 is basic contents, and then you have several modules that together form the theoretical block 2. For example, I'm a student. I can choose to do, for example, only the first one, and then maybe go to the second block. Among the modules that form the second block, I can choose, for example, 2 of them, 3 of them, or it's like a formal separation of the activities.
Yeah, it has changed a bit, not a lot. And this second theoretical block appeared in 2016 when I started directing the school, and it was just 4 modules: animal feed, management and health animal, the transformation and the management of agrarian enterprise, and they all were you had to do all of them. And then we start with the silvopastoralism 1, and it's also obligatory. And the last one that we have included in our formation is this to do as a mountain shepherd. And this is optional. It's the only one that is optional. Because one of the things that I mentioned as a difficulty is the limited budget, and is regarding exactly to this. Because if we wouldn't have limited budget, we would have a whole course to train people to do mountain shepherd, because it's something very different than to stay at the farm. and you need very good knowledge on meteo and orientation and first aid and this sort of stuff. But because we have limited budget, but we still want to give some training on that, because the reality is our students end up doing this job. So we came up with this 32-hour course within our course that is optional, because not all of our students is in fact a minority of our students, the ones that want to go up to the mountains to do as a shepherd in the mountains. So this is the one that is optional, but all of them end up doing it. So even though it's optional, all of our students course this week as well.
Okay,
Because
thank you.
I think it's useful, even you are not in the mountain, to have a knowledge, like a basic knowledge on this sort of stuff, orientation, meteo, first aid, and yeah.
Okay, the Maria.
Yeah, I also have one more question. I'm not sure if I overheard it, but at the very start of your school, it was 2009, when I remember correctly.
Yes.
How did it start? I mean, were there just some people who thought it is necessary to build up a school, or was there an established organization who started with the school, or how did it start?
It was. It comes from a rural development enterprise, local enterprise in the Pyrenees, with two women who are from here and love their land a lot. And they start working with rural development. And from this, they went into the wool. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The need of revalorize the wool and to pay a fair amount for the wool. And they set up a project, which is like a sister project of the Shepherds School, which is it was called Obrado Chisqueta, because it has finished now, and to produce artisanal pieces with local wool. Does it make sense? Okay,
Yes.
so from this, they start to be in close contact with the shepherds of the region, talking to them, to their needs, and so on. And they could see at the beginning that one of the main needs was to have farming renewal, because their sons and daughters didn't want to stay in the farm anymore. And because they already knew the experience of Basque Country and Asturias and Iparralde, they thought, okay, let's do a School of Shepherds. And in fact, in its beginnings, the School of Shepherds of Catalonia was very local, like is now the Aragon one. It was based on the Pallars Sobirà, the county where we are set. But then we start to expand, because it's a general need. It's not a local need. So we now are just operating in the whole Catalonia, but it started like this.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
Amanda, you are mute.
Sorry, I just want to say that this also was very interesting to hear the process.
Okay, sorry. Last 5 minutes to Francesco to speak about the 2 days workshop that we'll organize in December, and that's it.
Okay, I try to do it very fast, and I ask some help for my English to everybody. So we design a workshop, and everybody are welcome the second day, especially the 2nd of December in the morning. We will send the link. It could be an option also do it by call. And the first day is dedicated to all the people that organize some experimentations of the schools of pastoralism in Italy, that are experiences that are not well coordinated between them. So we have to discuss with the organizers about what did it function and what is not about the coordination. For have an experience of school also in different regions, but that we can call the school of national the Italian School of Pastoralism. So this is the first point. The second point that is something that we can open to the others, because that this first problem is just for inside of the group. The second day, so the 2nd of December in the morning, we will discuss with a work cafe about who are the people that we want to engage for the pastoralism in Italy and in the different regions, and what are the way that we want to find them. This is the first point. The second point is about the offer of l'offerta didattica. Greta, aiutami.
No idea. The training.
Didactic proposal. The education proposal. Thank you. Sorry. Grazie Alessandro, certo anche tu ovviamente. So the second table of discussion is about appunto the education proposal, the formal proposal, and the third group that we discussed, the third argument, is about the actors that we have to engage, especially in the territories. So we want that the school is participating. Well, who is the persons? Who are the organizations that have to be necessary engaged, and what are the way that we have to do it? So there are technical of engage that we have to be we have to share between all the experience of the different schools. So we have a way to do it, and we have to repropose it also in different territories. For have at the end a group of new shepherds that is well animated, is convinced about the thing to do, and a group that will help us to have also a policy about the pastoralism in Italy, and we hope in Europe with your help too. I try to explain, I think you understand. And okay, thank you, Laia. And in the afternoon of the 2nd of December, we will organize how the match between the different schools in Italy have to be done. So what is the governance of the national school, and in which way the regional schools can be connected between them. And so we will try to organize also in an economical sustainability, a group of coordination of these schools, because this is important for have efficienza e efficacia. I think I finished. I don't know, Greta, if you know, if you have something else to add about what I said.
No, I think it was enough.
Okay, thank you. I hope to see you in the 2nd of December. Laia, Maria, you know, we really like to have you. So you have to sign in the agenda the 2nd of December in the morning, please. It's important. You know, Tommaso, how it's difficult to have people that have contenuti. So we need your arguments.
Content. Laia
Content,
just said
content.
they are overworked.
Oh, okay. Content. Laia, you
Okay.
can ask to Maria, the ghost near to you, if she will come in your.
She's not here anymore.
Oh,
But I will.
You
It would
can
be
do
nice to be there. I mean, it's these kind of things that I think that it's
You
worth
take a
to.
tour. You take a tour of Italy.
okay.
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 You know, thank you.
Let's close. And thank you, Laia, very much. Thank you, Alessandro. Thank you, everyone. And
Yeah.
we'll see in Casentino Valley
Yeah.
for the workshop in presence. Okay?
Okay. Very well.
Have a nice
Thank
week.
you. See you next
Bye-bye.
time.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
again.
everyone.
Thank
Keep in
you.
touch.
Ciao, ciao,
Bye-bye.
ciao, ciao,
Ciao. Ciao, Elizabeth. Thank you.
Ok, qui come si fa?
Oh, Paola, buonasera. Ci sentiamo nei prossimi giorni, ragazzi. Io vi lascio allora.
Sì, sì,
Ok.
no, io sto guardando di capire la registrazione, come gestirla. Stavo tergiversando per quello, potete andare tranquillamente.
Ok, grazie. Ciao.
Tutti,
A presto.
grazie a voi.
Ciao Paola, ci sei? Paola, Paola? Paola, ci sei?